You've probably heard the story. A woman spilled hot coffee on herself at McDonald's, sued, and somehow walked away with millions. It's often cited as the poster child for frivolous lawsuits, a joke about greedy plaintiffs and out-of-control juries. But what if that widely circulated version is a distortion, a carefully crafted narrative designed to make you believe something entirely different from the truth? The real story of Stella Liebeck, the McDonald's hot coffee case, and the nearly $3 million verdict is far more complex and reveals a shocking truth about corporate responsibility and the American legal system. Let's peel back the layers and uncover what actually happened, because the details will surprise you and fundamentally change how you view this infamous case. Prepare to have your assumptions challenged. It was February 27th, 1992. Stella Liebeck, a 79-year-old woman, was a passenger in her grandson's car at a McDonald's drive-thru in Albuquerque, New Mexico. They ordered breakfast, including a cup of coffee. After receiving her order, her grandson pulled forward and parked so Stella could add cream and sugar to her coffee. While attempting to remove the lid, the cup tipped, spilling the entire contents onto her lap. This wasn't just a minor burn from lukewarm coffee. McDonald's coffee was served at an incredibly high temperature, between 180 and 190 degrees Fahrenheit. To put that in perspective, home coffee makers typically brew at 135 to 150 degrees. At 190 degrees, liquids can cause third-degree burns in just 2 to 7 seconds of contact. This extreme heat would become central to the legal battle. But what exactly were Stella's injuries, and why were they so severe? Stella Liebeck's injuries were not minor. The coffee, served at its near-boiling temperature, soaked through her sweatpants. She sustained third-degree burns on her thighs, groin, and buttocks, covering 6% of her body. Third-degree burns are excruciating. They destroy all layers of skin and can damage underlying tissue. She was rushed to the emergency room, where doctors determined her injuries were so severe they required skin grafts. Stella spent 8 days in the hospital, enduring painful debridement treatments and 2 major skin graft operations. Her recovery was long and agonizing, involving 2 years of ongoing medical treatment and permanent disfigurement. The initial medical bills alone exceeded $10,000. Before considering legal action, Stella tried to resolve this directly with McDonald's. What was their response to her plight? Following her horrific injuries and extensive medical treatment, Stella Liebeck, through her daughter, initially sought a modest settlement from McDonald's. She asked for $20,000 to cover her out-of-pocket medical expenses, which at that point included over $10,000 in hospital bills, plus some lost income for her daughter who had to care for her. McDonald's response was dismissive. They offered her a mere $800. This lowball offer was a critical turning point. It signaled to Stella and her family that McDonald's was not taking her injuries or their responsibility seriously. Feeling that her legitimate medical costs were being ignored, Stella decided she had no choice but to pursue legal action. She wasn't seeking to get rich. She simply wanted her medical bills covered and some recognition of the severe harm she had suffered. But why was McDonald's so unwilling to negotiate reasonably? Stella Liebeck filed a lawsuit against McDonald's for gross negligence. Her legal team argued that McDonald's served coffee that was unreasonably and dangerously hot, posing a significant burn risk to consumers. They also contended that McDonald's was aware of this danger but failed to take adequate precautions. The core of their argument rested on product liability law, specifically the concept of a defective product. In this case, coffee served at a temperature that made it unreasonably hazardous for its intended use. McDonald's, however, maintained that their coffee temperature was standard for the industry, allowing customers to take it home and still have it hot. They also argued that Stella was contributory negligent for spilling the coffee on herself. The stage was set for a contentious trial, but the evidence presented would shock the jury. During the trial, Stella's legal team presented compelling evidence against McDonald's. It wasn't just about one incident. Internal McDonald's documents revealed that between 1982 and 1992, The company had received over 700 complaints of coffee burns, ranging from minor to third degree. Some of these incidents involved children. Despite these numerous complaints, McDonald's had conducted no risk analysis and made no changes to its coffee temperature policy. A quality control manager for McDonald's even testified that they knew their coffee was hot enough to cause third-degree burns within seconds, yet they had no intention of lowering the temperature. This testimony was a devastating blow to McDonald's defense. It showed a clear pattern of knowledge of the danger, coupled with a deliberate refusal to act. But this wasn't all. The expert testimony further solidified Stella's case. Stella's legal team brought in a thermodynamics expert who testified about the physics of liquids and burn times. He explained that coffee served at McDonald's temperatures around 180 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit can cause full-thickness third-degree burns in 2 to 7 seconds. In contrast, coffee served at home brewing temperatures 135 to 150 degrees Fahrenheit would take significantly longer, up to 15 to 20 seconds, to cause similar severe burns, allowing more time for a person to react and prevent serious injury. The expert clarified that McDonald's coffee was dangerously hot for consumption, not just for spilling. Another expert testified that the human mouth cannot even comfortably taste coffee above 140 degrees Fahrenheit, meaning McDonald's coffee was served at a temperature that made it undrinkable for at least 10 to 15 minutes, defeating its stated purpose of being ready to drink. This testimony highlighted the company's unreasonable standard, leading to the jury's difficult decision. After weighing the evidence, the jury deliberated for 4 hours. They found McDonald's 80% responsible for Stella Liebeck's injuries and Stella 20% responsible for spilling the coffee. This legal concept is called comparative negligence. The jury awarded Stella $200,000 in compensatory damages for her medical expenses, pain, and suffering. However, because she was found 20% at fault, this amount was reduced to $160,000. But the jury didn't stop there. They also awarded $2.7 million in punitive damages. Punitive damages are not intended to compensate the victim, but to punish the defendant for egregious behavior and deter similar conduct in the future. This was a direct response to McDonald's knowing indifference to hundreds of burn complaints. But was this the final amount Stella actually received? The answer is more complicated. Here's where the media narrative often diverges from reality. While the jury awarded $2.7 million in punitive damages, the judge significantly reduced this amount. Judge Robert H. Scott cut the punitive damages to $480,000, bringing the total award to $640,000. The $160,000 compensatory damages plus $480,000 punitive damages. The judge justified the reduction by stating that punitive damages should typically be no more than 3 times the compensatory damages. Both McDonald's and Stella Liebeck appealed the decision. Ultimately, the parties reached an out-of-court settlement for an undisclosed amount, believed to be less than $500,000. So, while the jury originally awarded $2.9 million, Stella Liebeck never received that amount. The true settlement was far less, a detail often omitted from sensationalized retellings. This case didn't make Stella a millionaire. It barely covered her long-term care. The McDonald's hot coffee case became a landmark example in product liability law. It underscored that companies have a duty to ensure their products are reasonably safe for consumer use, and that known dangers must be addressed. It highlighted that even seemingly innocuous products like coffee can be dangerous if not handled responsibly by the manufacturer or seller. This case also fueled the tort reform movement, with critics arguing that it exemplified excessive punitive damages and frivolous lawsuits. However, proponents of the verdict argued that it served a crucial purpose, holding corporations accountable when they prioritize profit over consumer safety. The case pushed companies to reevaluate their product safety standards, leading to changes across various industries, not just fast food. But what about the actual temperature of coffee served today? After the Liebeck verdict, McDonald's did not immediately lower its coffee temperature, arguing it was industry standard. However, the legal pressure and public scrutiny eventually led to changes across the fast food industry. While coffee is still served hot, many establishments now serve it at slightly lower temperatures, typically between 150 to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. More importantly, many companies now include prominent warning labels on their coffee cups, explicitly stating the high temperature and potential for burns. This is a direct consequence of the Liebeck case. It serves as a stark reminder that sometimes it takes a serious injury and a legal battle for corporations to prioritize consumer safety over convenience or perceived customer preference. The next time you see a caution, hot warning, remember Stella Liebeck and her fight for justice. But there's a common misconception about the case that still needs addressing. One of the biggest myths surrounding the McDonald's hot coffee case is that Stella Liebeck was carelessly driving and spilled the coffee herself. This is false. She was a passenger, and the car was parked when she attempted to add sugar and cream. Another pervasive myth is that she only suffered minor burns. We've already covered the reality of her third-degree burns and extensive medical treatment. Perhaps the most damaging myth is that she was a greedy woman looking for a quick payout, a frivolous litigant. This completely ignores her initial, modest request for medical expenses and McDonald's dismissive $800 offer. Her lawsuit was a last resort, driven by severe injury and corporate indifference, not an opportunistic grab for millions. Understanding these facts is crucial to truly grasping the significance of the case and its impact on legal precedent and consumer protection. It was never about a minor inconvenience. It was about serious harm and accountability. The McDonald's hot coffee case is far more than a punchline. It's a testament to the legal system's role in holding corporations accountable. Stella Liebeck wasn't a greedy litigant. She was a severely injured elderly woman seeking justice for horrific burns caused by a dangerously hot product and corporate indifference. The case forced companies to prioritize consumer safety and implement clearer warnings. It shows that sometimes, even in seemingly straightforward incidents, the deeper truth reveals a complex struggle for fairness. If you found this dive into legal truth compelling, consider subscribing for more real U.S. legal cases and courtroom stories told simply.